welcome to this series of videos put together by Community Energy Wales looking at retrofit and refurbishment in Wales. My name is Peter Draper and I'm your guide for these videos. I am a building surveyor, a retrofit coordinator and also a domestic energy assessor. So my role is to sort of explain the situation behind retrofit and also help guide you towards the solutions to make sure that you do retrofit in a sustainable way. Retrofitting the housing stock of Wales is a really key element in the fight against climate change. We both have to reduce the amount of CO2 associated with heating our buildings, but we also have to think about the effects of climate change and actually what we could do whilst we're retrofitting our buildings is to make sure that they're ready for any aspects of climate change that might affect us here in Wales. For example, if it's going to get stormier, if it's going to get wetter, if it's going to get hotter in the summer. Those types of things we can build in just by thinking about what we're doing and making sure we plan for it now. Retrofitting is really important because the housing stock that exists at the moment, even though it might be old, and Wales has the highest percentage of old buildings, traditionally built buildings in the world, they are the backdrop to Wales, they are the backdrop to our community. And it's the streetscapes that we know and that we love and we also value. Buildings, especially the sort of traditional ones, which are regarded as being sort of very inefficient in terms of their EPC ratings, for example, actually are like a carbon sink. They are the embodiment of all that carbon and all that energy that went into making them many, many years ago. And the options are to either leave them as they are, which is not particularly efficient, or we retrofit them, which is what we're advocating, or you could knock them all down and start again. But actually the embodied carbon that exists in those buildings now mean that actually knocking down and building better houses, more efficient houses, actually would use more carbon than just retrofitting them now. When we think about our houses, there's a myriad of factors that are at play, and it's not just energy efficiency. It's where is the house? Is it close to a school? What does it look like? Is it light and airy? What does it feel like? Where do my friends and neighbours and family live? There's a whole range of other factors that we need to think about if we're going to make any retrofit and improvements sustainable. In Wales, we're really lucky because we have legislation that means we have to take a more rounded approach. The Wellbeing of Future Generations Act 2015, for those who may not know of it, is a key document that means that Welsh Government and any other public body, so whether that's the NHS or councils, etc., all have to answer to the Future Generations Act. And that means we have to think about other things, wider implications of the work that we do. And this really focuses the mind. So it's a great tool that we have to be aware of when we're thinking about retrofit. The Act sets out 7 wellbeing goals and also 5 ways of working. So we have to bear these in mind to make sure that we cover all these aspects of life in Wales, to make sure that the structural improvements that we make now have a positive and beneficial effect for our kids and our grandkids. Another key factor within this field of play, in a way, in the industry is that there are new standards coming through. Now these currently only apply to publicly funded works, so something called ECO, the Energy Company Obligation Funds. But as these standards get rolled out, so they may have implications for the private rented sector and also owner-occupiers. But even if they don't, actually the standards that are being developed are really, really focused on the whole house approach and making sure that we do work in a risk managed way that focuses on quality. And by doing so, the intention is to make sure that we don't have ramshackle work that's done by untrained people who don't really know what they're doing. And we will look at this process as the videos sort of continue. But for now, it's just worth saying that this is a standard which goes under the snappy title of PAS 2035, which is a publicly available specification, even though it does cost a huge amount of money to actually go and buy it. But nevertheless, companies and do have access to this, and there's a whole new range of professions coming out called retrofit assessors, retrofit coordinators, retrofit designers and evaluators that should be able to provide a risk-based, high-quality set of not only designs, but also process, project management to make sure that what you actually want is actually delivered. And we'll talk a lot more about those processes in later videos. In summary, this first video is just to sort of make sure that people have an idea that this is not an easy fix. If we're going to do this right, then we need to be wise, we need to learn the lessons of the past, and we need to think ahead, and we need to do so in a professional and quality-based system. We hope that you enjoy these videos and that they're educational and you learn from them, and it will help you when you're considering what to do to your own individual property. Thanks very much for watching.